Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Shadowwraith, and today I'm going to be going over how to beat Angmar in Middle-earth strategy battle game. So, I'm going to try and keep this as generic as possible, so apply it as much as I can to good forces and evil forces, because we don't really do good versus evil like at every event and stuff like that. But, also, I'm going to try and keep it like, faction generic, so I'll give you quite a few tactics on how to beat Angmar, or give yourself a better chance of winning with a couple of the strategies that I have used in the past. So, the first one I'll get off straight away is if you can bring Galadriel, Lady of Light, from the Armies of the Hobbit book, bring her, because she's got banishment, which causes 1 wound automatically to any spirit model, and if you channel it, it does D3. You probably want to do D3 if you can, because they've got 3 wounds. But even if they stop it, they're using their will, which they use for the Chill Aura ability, which is the 6-inch, -1 to dual rolls for all non-Angmar models. Also, Gandalf the White does have banishment as well, and he's a solid option, but very expensive. I mean, if you find yourself in a rare situation where you've got both of them, you can double spam banishment. But, obviously, don't just target Shades, you can target Wraiths who only have 1 wound, and if you get a clutch banishment roll and they fail to stop it, you could literally one-shot the Witch King of Angmar, which is fantastic, because that will almost guarantee, that is leader kill right there for you, which is great, and it makes them very scared of Galadriel or Gandalf. The other thing you can do is if you're truly scared of Angmar and you are pretty certain you're going to be coming up against an Angmar list at some point at an event you're going to, or your gaming group play a lot of Angmar, then invest in a Warhorn. Okay, if you have an access to a Warhorn, invest in a Warhorn, because that +1 to your courage is amazing, especially when they start trying to move your forces about with Dead Marsh Spectres and stuff like that, and it helps with charging. Okay, so a Warhorn is definitely worth it, because you can guarantee they're going to have some Dead Marsh Spectres with them. But these guys are easily killed by Galadriel or Gandalf, because they've only got 1 wound, they are a spirit, and they can't do anything to stop it. So all you have to do is roll a 4+ with Gandalf the White, and you've killed it. So, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The other thing that I have used to destroy Angmar is using heroes like Vasquez if I'm playing Isengard, where he's got, say there's orcs in front of the Shade or whatever I'm trying to kill, the Wraith or whatever, and I've got my Uruk-hai crossbowmen. I'm going to use Heroic Accuracy to reroll in the way rolls to get past their orcs and just keep shooting at their Wraiths. Any kind of spirit model you want to kill, okay? Because the key to beating Angmar is to get rid of their spirits. If you get rid of their spirits, then you're just fighting normal orcs pretty much, and jobs are good and nice and easy, right? On top of that, if you don't have shooting in your army, you want to have a rather strong killing hero. So if you've got Aragorn Strider, wounding on 4s, fantastic 3-point of might. So if you don't have access to Aragorn, you've got other hard-hitting heroes that you want to use. So the King for Far-Harad on his camel, Strength 5, +1 to wound on the charge. He's going to kill some orcs. Use his point of might to heroic combat, kill those orcs, and then try and swing into their back lines and take out the Wraiths. Because sure, they're defense 8, but if you're strength 5 or even strength 4 with +1 to wound, you're wounding that thing on 5s, and you'll be surprised how quickly it goes down, especially if you're cavalry. Because, I mean, most heroes have, say, 3 attacks minimum with a charge bonus, Or, no, we'll go 4 attacks. 4 attacks minimum. If you've got a solid hero, 4 attacks minimum on the charge. Knock them down, that's 8 attacks, wounding on 5s. So, yeah. You're probably going to take out whatever you charge. And don't forget, Shades don't have any fate. So, yeah. They're screwed. They got 3 wounds, that's it. But other good heroes to do that with are pretty much anyone mounted. Even Faramir can do it with a lance. Prince Imrahil. A Troll Chieftain. Yeah, Troll Chieftain, absolutely. Because he's ridiculous strength and he can just rend it. So, if you've got one of them at your disposal, go for it. So, yeah. if you're really lucky, you can get some kind of War Machine hit on it. If you're playing Gondor, the Avenger Bolt Thrower, you can just pepper it to high hell, and if you're nearby, you can use Heroic Accuracy. I'm pretty sure it works on War Machines, to shoot past their orcs and just pepper it to death. But even if you don't, you can trebuchet it, hope for a 6, and then you'll one-shot it. So, what kind of armies do we want to be playing? Well, there are a few examples, some tactics that I use. And the kind of armies, the army composition you want to be using is gunline armies are quite good against Angmar. Okay, so Haradrim are quite good because you can just shoot the absolute, rubbish out of the orcs with your poisoned rerolling to wounds bows. The Gondor Shield Wall with the twin Avenger Bolt Throwers can absolutely devastate them as well. And any kind of Mirkwood or Elfie shooty list, actually elves in general are fantastic against Angmar. High courage, Rivendell especially because you've got the mounted Rivendell Knights, so they've got lances, so they've got the +1 to wound. On top of that, they've also all got elf bows, so you can be picking off their banners or the few orcs here or there, or you can get a really lucky clutch shot and take out a wraith. You never know. But the +1 to wound on the charge, high fight, high courage is what makes them. If you bring a Warhorn on top of that, they are literally just, they're not gonna be moving your elves at all. Dwarves are fantastic. Iron Hills are fantastic. They're courage 4 anyway. There's a couple of heroes you can bring in with Warhorns, and Dane Ironfoot makes all your dwarfs, auto pass courage tests within 12 of him. They're fearless, so they really don't care. Anyone with bodyguard as well, fantastic Thranduil's Halls. So, you're not taking those courage tests, so they can't mess about with your units. But that's a lot of good guys. We've only got Serpent Horde there, really. I find that Isengard do quite well against them because, they've got not great courage. They're courage 3 mostly, but they've got high fight, and they've got good shooting, and they have got access to magic, so you can Sorcerous Blast things and do other shenanigans with Saruman. But most armies have a counter, can't have their chariots, so you just have to pass one courage test and you're pretty much sound, and just can chariot your way through their entire army. Far Harad will struggle because of their courage, but you can ally them with Serpent Horde to bring in the Warhorn, if you want to bring them up to courage 3 for most of their troops. And then if a hero is in combat, so if you get a hero in, then everyone within 6 inches of him, infantry warrior models, auto pass their courage tests as well. So as long as you get your hero in ASAP, you're fine. Well, as long as they're close enough to your troops. And the only faction that I have seen properly mess up Angmar is Misty Mountain / Radagast Alliance. Eagles have high courage, they've got monstrous charge, and they can fly. So you can't really hide your shades. They can barge their way to the shades or any spirit model they want to. You've got Bjorn, you've got Radagast for his spells, you've got all sorts of... Gwaihir is absolutely phenomenal. Just recently got him, painted him up. I love that model, absolutely. So I'm interested to see how he plays. But another interesting strategy that I've only seen once, and it was only a suggestion actually, because I was talking about alliances and how to make Eagles more competitive, and someone suggested bring in Misty Mountains with Gwaihir and the Fellowship. So Aragorn, stick him on a horse. He's got Mighty Hero, so he's getting a 3-point of might, so the low might doesn't really matter for my army. And you've got Aragorn's lightsaber, which is fantastic, and Aragorn is a beast, okay? And I'm talking like fully kitted out, because you might as well fully kit him out, because you're going to be, unless it's like 650 points or something, but if it's nice round 600 point army or 1000 point army, you're going to be 50 points down because of Gwaihir only being 150. So having them two run around is just phenomenal, because Aragorn can heroic combat as much as he wants. Gwaihir doesn't need to use any might, he can just barge and get to where he wants. He can hurl. It sounds like a fun combo. I'm going to give it a go. I don't know how it's going to run, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below of that list. So it'll be Gwaihir, Strider on horse, probably give him all the upgrades I can. Obviously you're going to give him his lightsaber, and then just fill the rest with Eagles. So yeah, let me know what you think of that, and if you think it would work. But yeah, the last tactic I want to talk about is it's a bit harder to pull off. You've got to, in essence, you've got to be a bit more smarter than your opponent, and that's not to put your opponent's intelligence down. I'm just saying, if you think about it, a lot of what Angmar does good is that, yeah, they got some good heroes, they got some good monsters, sure. I can deal with heroes and monsters. Everyone can deal with heroes and monsters. If you've played against a monster army or army with monsters, you know how to deal with them. But what you need to do is think, the range of a Shade's ability is 6 inches. That can only cover so much of the battlefield. Sure, his Deadmarsh Spectres have a bit of a longer range, but they can only affect one model each, and you've got the Paralyzed from the Barrow Wights, okay? And yeah, that can be annoying. But if you've got some kind of quicker list than them, if you're fast, so if you're playing Rohan fully mounted, or Fiefdoms fully mounted, or Dark Denizens of Mirkwood, you can pick and choose where the fight's going to happen. So if you hit them on their flanks, if they've set up in a main battle line and they've got their Shade behind the Orcs, which is what they're going to do, and they've got a couple of Barrow Wights here and there, or Deadmarsh Spectres scattered around, you can, in essence, try and, if you're doing Warband for Warband, look like you're setting up for the centre, so you're going for a centre charge, and they can try and mirror you and match you, and that's where they're going to put all their debuffs and stuff like that. But what you want to do then is to then split off and hit their flanks, where they haven't got their Spectres, or they haven't got their Shades, things like that. Because if you pick where you're fighting, you're gonna do so much better, so much better. Especially using Rivendell Cavalry, you can just destroy their flanks and then start encircling them, and then they'll be fighting on 2 fronts, 3 fronts, multiple different fronts. Be aware that they will have a Wraith most likely, which means you're -1 to your courage, so the bringing a Warhorn will counter that if you have access to it. If you don't, have a look at the Alliance Matrix, because there might be a way to get one. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the strategies I've used. But just to summarise, kill the spirits. So that's Wraiths, Shades, Barrow Wights, things like that. They are priority target number 1. You need to kill them. Once you've killed them, you've pretty much got it. You've pretty much got it, in my opinion. Unless they've got a Burder, the Troll Chieftain, plus Gulver, or however you say his name, the weird, massive Terror of Arnor for 200 points, then you pretty much got it. But at the end of the day, they're monsters. You can deal with monsters. You stick Strider into the Terror of Arnor and do a couple of wounds off him, then yeah, because his wounds is what his courage is, plus how many attacks he gets, and he's got no fate. So yeah, sure, he's fight 7 and can fly and stuff like that, but if you catch him, I mean, yeah, you should be able to do a few wounds onto him at least, and then he is neutered massively unless he starts killing a bunch of your troops, in which case he can regain wounds. But yeah, you should be fine. And I don't know how popular he is, but I haven't seen him. People tend to bring the Witch King or the Dwemer Lake or the Tainted with a Shade and a few couple of Barrow Wights maybe with Deadmarsh Spectres, and fill the rest with Orcs with a banner. So yeah, but that's it. Kill the Wraiths, okay? Kill the other big things, and then move on to kill their Orcs. The last thing you can consider is, can you win the scenario without having to deal with all that? So if it's something like grab the relic, dig up the relic and run away with it, do that. Just do that and get yourself broken, and you'll probably win the game as long as your leader doesn't die. Sure, you can do that. If it's about objective grabbing, if you've got the mobility to grab all the objectives, do that, because Angmar can't fight on a million fronts, because they are quite a bubble army, I want to say, because they rely on the -1 to your courage, plus the Shades. So in essence, play the scenario. If it's Contest of Champions, don't worry too much about going for the Shades, because if you've got a decent enough hero with high enough courage, just kill a bunch of Orcs, and then try and kill their leader, who's probably a Ring Wraith with 1 wound. And if you've got Banishment in your army, 100%, you should be fine. Play the scenarios, you'll be fine. Don't worry It's not all about standing toe to toe, hitting into each other until one army crumbles. That's not how the game works. That's not how tactics work, okay? A lot of armies want you to do that, and don't. You don't have to. Unless you know you're going to win that, don't do it. Anyway, that wraps it up for this video. Let me know in the comment section down below how you fare against Angmar, or if you play against Angmar, and what works against your force. Please, I know you don't want to give away your dirty secrets on what you don't want to see people use, but I've done it with my main faction, Legendary Legion, Return of the King. It's all about helping out the new players, or players who are struggling, and helping out the community as a whole. Anyway, if you like the video and like these how to beat kind of videos, do hit the thumbs up button and give me any suggestions of armies you would like to know how to beat. And if you're feeling especially saintly today, do hit the subscribe button. Really helps me out. But if you don't do either of those things, that's fine. I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.